It is obviously a huge game between two unbeaten teams in the AFC, but that doesn't feel like anywhere near the important part of the story. So my insider, Dan Graziano, who was working the story all day yesterday, what is the very latest?
Well, the committee met yesterday. Roger Goodell has an advisory committee to deal with, do we have to reschedule games, right? Do we have to postpone what's fair, et cetera. So that happened yesterday. There's also testing going on, obviously, in both of these buildings, Tennessee and in Minnesota. I texted somebody with the Titans yesterday, just asked, how you doing? And the reply was, I'm great. I've already tested negative 3 times today. I guess they're doing point-of-care tests that come back in 15 minutes, and they're also doing the nasal swab tests. So what we're waiting on is the results of those tests from the Titans, from the Vikings. We should have something today. And if there's no more positives, then I think things can go forward. If there are more positives, if there's a high number of positives in either or both building, then there's a different conversation that has to be had about the extent to which they need to press pause on those teams' activities, their opponents for this week's activities, and what has to happen league-wide.
So the one thing, however, that does not change regardless of the testing is that the Titans building is closed until Saturday.
Correct.
Right? 4 days. They can't get in. They can't practice. They can't all gather and be together. So as a former player, Dan, if you're a Titan right now and your game is still scheduled for Sunday against Pittsburgh, what are you thinking?
There's no shot that we should play. I mean, my job is not prepare to play. My job is prepare to win. And you're hindering my ability to do that. Especially, I'll take it to this little example of the Titans and the Steelers. If I'm Ryan Tannehill, I'm going, I need to see this Steelers blitz package. I need my offensive linemen to see it, my tailbacks to see how we're going to protect it. If you can't allow me in my building to get preparation, then you shouldn't ask me to play this football game. I think the Titans players need to go to the NFL and go, this isn't fair. We're a 3-0 football team. One game could determine whether we make the playoffs, whether we're a 1 seed, a 2 seed. This isn't fair to one team, and I think the Titans organization needs to step forward and talk to the NFL about it.
This is a unique season for the word fair, isn't it?
Yes, because it's not the highest priority. So we're used to in football, all the symmetry and fairness being the guiding principle, the most important thing. What the league has told its teams, what the coaches have told its players, what some of us on the air have tried to communicate to the fans, is that an expectation of fairness this year, consistent fairness, especially in matters like this, is unrealistic. There are going to be times when you as a player, you as a coach, you as a fantasy football player, you as a fan of a team are not going to get a fair shake. Because, no, look, there's a lot of actors in this whole scenario. The only one, the people I just listed, the only actor in this whole scenario that's going to get everything at once is the virus, period. Every single thing works off of that. So if they have positive tests and the answer is, guess what? The Titans and Steelers are only going to play 15 games this year, and other teams are going to play 16. That's just the way it is. And the players in both buildings have been told to prepare Sunday. It may be that they play that game Sunday. It may be that it moves to Monday or Tuesday or later in the year. But if they have to play Sunday, what the Titans coaches are telling their players is, that stinks, but we got to do it anyway.
Then they shouldn't even ask Tennessee to play, because there's no way that they allow the Steelers to have their full week of preparation just like normal, and the Titans can't have any week of preparation, and then they expect them to go play. I understand that fair is a very loose term right now, but if I'm the Titans, I would go, fine, if we can't get back into our building because of the virus, 1,000%. But then make sure that the Steelers are on the same playing ground. Don't allow them to be back in their building. That's got to be like a common ground. If we're going to play the game, make sure that both teams at least have somewhat symmetry within their week.
The issue is not whether fair is a loose term. The issue is whether it's as relevant a term as we have grown accustomed to it being in the NFL. And the answer is no. I mean, in 2020, the answer is no. And it's either this or it's no season at all. And that's where the NFL has landed, and they're asking their players and their coaches and their team owners and their fans to understand that.
You brought up a great point this morning as well, Dan, as we were discussing this in our meeting, and that is about the possibility of injury.
Oh, for sure, because, listen, the week goes like this for a pro. On Mondays, the day after the game, it's all rehab. Okay, do I need to get into a hot tub? Is my massage this day? You get your physical therapy. Tuesday, the off day, everybody goes into the facility and, again, gets rehab on their body with certain doctors, acupuncture, cupping, hot tubs. Guys don't have access to that stuff. And then the week is really a build-up to get your body ready to play. How are guys supposed to be able to do that without the use of their facility And what risk does that give them vulnerable? Not to like an ankle sprain type thing, but like just making sure the preservation of the body is there.
And these are all the things that are being talked about, right? That's a topic in these conversations. The competitive fairness aspect is a topic in these conversations. Is it better for those reasons and for competitive fairness reasons to move the game to Monday or to Tuesday or to slide it back to week 8 when the Ravens and Steelers have a bye and you can switch to the Titans bye and all that? All being discussed. The point I'm trying to make is the answer is not going to be universally satisfactory, and that's just where we are as they're trying to play this season in this particular bizarre, unprecedented year.
See, that's something I think we all have to get used to. Think back to when the baseball season first started.
Yeah.
And all these games got postponed. Many of them canceled. Many teams didn't play a full 60 games, and that's just the way it was. In football, that's a lot more complicated. You can't just say, all right, we won't play this week or next, but everything will be okay. So they're going to have to, the alternative, I think you just made a good point. It's either do this
or shut it down,
or we're not going to have a season. And that's just unfortunately going to be the reality of it. We're going to get RC and Dominique in this a little bit later in the program today. I wanted to split it up so everyone really got a chance to comment because these are unprecedented circumstances in pro football. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.